So how are you feeling about the speech today? Feeling nervous?
Yeah, a little, but it's all sort of coming back to me.
25-year-old Richard Jones has good reason to be on edge. Today, he's going to stand in front of 100 people and relive a nightmare that started 9 years ago to the day. On the 21st of November 1998, Richard was a student at the prestigious Peninsula School. He was about to sit exams and was looking forward to the long summer holidays with his mates.
It was a Saturday night, early on in the afternoon. They'd been sort of playing around making this lemon gun.
I reckon you could throw a bit more tape on there. How far does it go? No idea.
Probably 100 metres at the most.
At that stage, the other guys drove past in the car.
The driver was 17-year-old L-plater Gene Thomas, who'd taken the car without his parents' permission.
We ended up sort of saying, oh, well, let's sort of go up to the school and have a bit of a play around there, see how far we can shoot it down the oval.
Go on, squeeze it.
By the time the Nissan station wagon headed off in the early evening, it was packed with 8 teenage boys.
Where are we going?
School, mate. School.
Sheen and David were in the front, and myself, Josh, Daniel and Tim were in the back seat, and Mark and Blair were in the luggage compartment. Went down and turned around and started driving up the hill. With the load in the car, obviously had to put the foot down a bit.
Hey, your radio, turn your radio.
Yeah, the car swerved out of control and hit the tree on the side of the road.
The peninsula town of Mount Eliza is mourning the loss of 3 schoolmates in a horrific overnight car crash.
Just 48 seconds after setting off, 3 of Richard's friends, 17-year-olds Tim Noble and Blair Hibbert and 16-year-old Daniel Groves, are dead.
Okay?
Yep.
Richard knows he can't turn back the clock. But today, he'll try to convince other teenagers not to repeat the mistakes he and his friends made on that terrible day.
Nervous?
A little, but yeah, we'll be right. We'll be fine. Thanks.
9 years ago, as a teenage schoolboy, Richard Jones survived a horror crash which took the lives of 3 of his mates. Since then, he's forced himself to repeatedly relive the nightmare in the hope that other teenagers won't suffer the same fate.
This is sort of the way we went to school every day when I was going there, so yeah, it's bring back a few memories.
Today, along with his fiancée Emily, he's come back to his old school to talk to Year 11 students.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird feeling coming back here 9 years afterwards and seeing everything all again.
All right, students, please fill in the rows. Thank you. Come on, boys, moving along. We'll be starting in a minute.
Among those also on hand to lend support are the parents of the boys who died in the smash, including Michael Hibbert, who lost his son Blair. He became the face of the family's grief during the trial of the driver, Gene Thomas.
Gene Thomas again wore his school blazer as the judge denounced the actions that killed 3 of his classmates and jailed him for 2 years.
You're talking to a father who's lost a son he loves so dearly. I mean, I would go to jail for life myself if I could have my boy back.
Well, I've still got his fishing gear and his other things that I keep. I said I'll put a line over for him when I go out. So it's his fish. Blair and I were keen fishermen. We spent a lot of our very happy years down at Rosebud, camping on the foreshore. And this was his tie. He liked that tie. So I keep it for this day. You know, it's one I remember him by.
We have brought you all here this morning to commemorate, I guess, what would be one of the most tragic days in the history of our school. These were boys who were your age. They were in Year 11. They were preparing for exams just as you are at the moment. They had plans for their summer holidays that were coming up, and many of them had had very strong aspirations for their Year 12 year that was about to begin.
Come on, man. Hey, your radio. Turn your radio.
Richard is from the class of 99, and he was one of the 8 boys who hopped into the car on that fateful evening. And Richard has gladly come along today to share his story with you.
Although you've learned a lot in the past years, I hope that I can instil some knowledge in you about what I've gained due to a terrible situation, so that you don't have to learn the lesson the hard way.
Richard reads an essay he wrote in Year 12, a few months after the accident.
Christ, is this what death feels like? Looking down at the grass with vomit pouring from my mouth, I choked for air. Metal is twisted and turned, and the once light brown car is black as if it's been turned inside out. I glance to the left and see Tim lie on the ground. 16 years old and no clue about how special life really is. The driver was unlicensed and we were offered a lift. We were only going 2 minutes up the road. It only took 48 seconds to happen. Now 3 of my friends are dead, and what do we have to say for it? Youth doesn't provide an excuse. Think about facing their parents, seeing the pain and loss that will always linger in their faces. Think about not being able to say goodbye. Just think. Thank you for your time, and please drive for life.
I think I'll think more about getting in the car now with different people and who's driving.
It really just opens your eyes up to what can happen, and I wouldn't have thought before today that any of that could happen to me.
In the past year, lawmakers in some states have banned young drivers from carrying more than one passenger of a similar age.
It's very easy for young people today to look at these accidents and say, well, it won't happen to us. But the truth is, if you're touched by it, it's like a stone into a still pond. The ripples go for forever. And this accident really did that.